Good day, everyone. One of the very key components for Unity programming or using Unity, along with developing a VR experience or an AR experience, is understanding scripting in Unity. Scripting in Unity earlier used to happen through JavaScript and C Sharp, but now the only language which is compatible with the Unity software is C Sharp. So in our today's lecture, or basically in our chapter, we'll get an overall understanding of what is C Sharp, how to use C Sharp, and why is it important to know that what is scripting and why do we require scripting in our Unity platform. So our today's lecture focuses on understanding scripting, and it's an introduction to scripting and C Sharp programming. So let's look at it in detail in our upcoming lecture. So first of all, we need to understand why do we need scripting. So scripting is the process of defining a set of steps which is triggered based on the conditions set by the user. Scripting allows the user to set the flow of action in any game or program as compared to just using a predefined action. So if you look at in Unity, we have been working on Unity till now. You can add environments, you can make environments and all. But now if you have to make the environments interactive, you want the environments to move, you want the environments to respond to user actions, you definitely need scripting as a part because these scripts enable you to define the flow of action. So if I was to look at somewhere or if I have to look at the ground, I need to automatically start walking. So this is all enabled through the use of scripting in Unity. Scripting is useful for designing interactions, actions, and customizing the kind of motion and requirement as per the user. So scripting gives the user the power to control his actions, control the flow of interaction. So if you want to interact with an object, so in our previous example, we saw that when we created our first VR object, we wanted to change the color of the cube. So if you want such kind of interactions or actions to happen, you definitely need scripting. One important thing in mind is to keep is that scripting doesn't mean knowing the programming language in detail. It means using the required snippets, parts of code, and modifying it as per what you need. So one of the things I always keep on telling my students is you need not be a master of C# programming for using Unity or you making your virtual reality experiences. You need to basically know the basics of C# programming and understand how to use snippets. So in our future chapters, in our next chapters, we'll be using interactions, we'll be using interactions, developing interactions. So you basically need to know how to use those snippets. And I will be teaching you enough C# programming so that you can understand those snippets and you can modify those snippets as per your requirement. So that's the whole intention I tell my students is always learn how to reuse a code rather than writing it from scratch. That helps you to do it faster. That helps you to make sure that you are doing it in the right manner. So it helps you in a lot of purpose. So that is what I mean by scripting or what I tell my students to learn about scripting. So if I have to give you a general introduction to C Sharp is a sequential programming language, which means it executes code in the same order they are written. So it's like a C++ or C, where it's doing step-by-step wise code, and it's executing it sequentially, so that it's executing it one after the other. It's a function-based language which allows developers to define functions, which are chunks of code that achieve a certain task. So in C Sharp, you will be writing a lot of functions which are aimed for doing particular tasks. And you'll understand it further when you start seeing those functions in with yourself. So these are basically functions which are used to say trigger an action or execute a mission or execute a command. So you'll see the use of these functions very much when you're looking at C Sharp scripts. When executing scripts, the compiler pre-processes the code and converts it into binary executable code to save time in future executions. So one of the things that happens is since you're using a lot of scripts, you want the scripts to run as fast as possible. So that's one of the reasons that you use C Sharp because it's a compiler friendly code. So the compiler pre-processes the code and converts it into binary executable code. So it runs very fast. So even if you have a lot of scripts in your virtual reality experience, there is very less chance that your virtual reality experience will actually lag because of the execution of a script. Where scripts always execute faster. That's the reason that we use a lot of C Sharp in our scripts, and that's why Unity is so much compatible with C Sharp. Why C Sharp? First of all, it's the most widely accepted language by the Unity developer community. So if you look at the Unity developer community, they are they have got very comfortable in using C Sharp, and right now a lot of the games. So even if you see a lot of the games on the App Store or the Play Store, or if you see a lot of these Unity experiences are written using C Sharp. So it's a very widely accepted code or a widely accepted language for using by Unity developers. Easier to find tutorials in C Sharp for programming in Unity. Since a lot of tutorials are available on the App Store of Unity, it's easy. So if you're in need of a particular snippet of code, it's easy to find that snippet of code online because someone or the other must have written it. So it's easy to just reuse that snippet rather than trying to write new ones. So always have that approach key. You're reusing a code and you're reusing for your purpose. It has support for the latest Unity software for developing the script. So C Sharp supports the latest Unity software, so it's independent of the version of Unity software. And then, as I said, it allows you to reuse functions written for other programs in newer programs. So the beauty of C Sharp is it's easy to reuse programs. It's easy to reuse code, and that's what I'll be keeping on stressing on during my teaching of interactions also. That you try to reuse these snippets because your teleport will work in the same way whether you use it in an virtual experience or a via virtual experience. So it's the same, the code remains the same, only the trigger might change, only a small parts of it might change. So you have to keep these things in mind that these are the changes that will happen and this is what you're going to do. So that's why C Sharp is very user friendly and very useful when working in Unity. In our further lectures, we'll see a lot more about C Sharp, and right from the basics, we'll go to the advanced level. So look out for it in our future lectures. Thank you very much.